Okay, good afternoon, members of council, members of our management team, and also our distinguished guests in the lobby here today. It is 12:13, and I would ask a member of council that we open up this public meeting, actually the last public meeting for this town council.
I so move.
Councilor Myra White, second. Second, Councilor Maurice Hines, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. I'd like to recognize we do have 4 attendees online that have logged in electronically. Welcome to the Stephenville Town Council Chamber meeting. It is a beautiful day in the great town of Stephenville, Newfoundland. Okay, I'll start off with our land acknowledgement. And today I thought it was very fitting that I would wear my Indigenous regalia jacket, as they say you never know where you're going until you know where you've come from. So rich Indigenous history in this town is recognized by our murals, also with our Acadian French culture. But for 10,000 years, Indigenous people have been in North America, actually farming. There was a lot of trade that happened between North and South, from Mexico to the Arctic. And a little piece of history, 500 years ago when the Europeans arrived on Lake Huron, the Huron had 7,000 acres of corn in cultivation. They were farming. So I'll go ahead with our land acknowledgement. Stephenville and the whole of Bay St. George is home to rich, diverse, and vibrant rural Indigenous communities. Located on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Beothuk, the lands and waters in and around us have traditionally served as a gathering place for the Mi'kmaq. The broader region of Newfoundland and Labrador continues to be home to diverse Indigenous peoples, including First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. We honor and pay respect to the past, present, and future caretakers of these territories. Item number 3, I would ask a member of council that we approve the agenda as circulated.
Move.
Moved by Councilor Darren Roberts, second.
Seconded.
Second, Councilor Maurice Hines, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Item number 4. We had 3 meetings that we need to approve the minutes. These minutes were completed and vetted to our town clerk and circulated to management, and council. So item number 4, be it resolved that the minutes for September the 11th, 2025 public meeting of council be approved.
So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Susan Fallows, second.
Second.
Second. Okay, I think I caught Councilor Tom O'Brien.
Okay, no problem.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Number 2, be it resolved that the minutes for privileged meeting of council dated August 21st, 2025 be approved.
I so.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second.
Second, Councilor Darren Roberts. Ahead of you there, Councilor O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Yes.
4.3, be it resolved that the minutes of the privileged meeting of council dated September 8, 2025 be approved, noting Councilor O'Brien was in conflict, so your vote would not be required. Councilor O'Brien, motion to approve.
Move.
Moved by Councilor Darren Roberts, second Councilor Laura Elward, all in favor.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, item number 5, are there any matters arising from those minutes? I hear none. Okay, I will move on to item number 6. So I had the distinct privilege, as probably my last proclamation, Mr. Mayor. Just a note that we are the council until the new council after October 2nd gets sworn in. So we still have the powers of office. Just think that. So proclamations, number 1, the town of Stephenville proclaimed September 22nd to the 28th as Bay St. George Pride Week. They had a great amount of events that took place, and we wish them all the best in their events. The weather has been cooperating, although we're getting some rain tomorrow. Item number 2, the town of Stephenville proclaimed September 26th as the Chamber of Commerce Day as they celebrate their 70th anniversary. Being held at Royal Canadian Legion this Saturday night.
Correct.
I will say that the Chamber of Commerce, I spoke before, but sometimes something of importance you speak again. but it was the first chamber of commerce ever formed in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador in the 1950s. And it probably was because of such diverse and robust business culture and the American influence of Stephenville, because Chamber of Commerce were very big in the US at the time. And it happened, we were the first. And an interesting note, back then, you know, coming out of the merchant times and the power of St. John's, a little piece of history on that. When the first formation of the chamber happened in Stephenville, somebody was catapulted from St. John's to try to disrupt the proceedings, to stop it from happening. And that happened in Stephenville, Newfoundland. And as you well know, the power of the merchants and the big business of St. John's and the fishery was part of our history. And a lot of people don't know that, but that actually happened. But they didn't succeed.
Good.
It got formed.
Good.
Okay, so that's the proclamations. So it's my turn to take a little breather. I'll turn it over to our Chair of Finance, Councilor Myra White, for the Finance Committee report.
Yes, I noticed that you had one page, I have three.
Okay.
Oh, 3.
Item number 7, Finance Committee report, 7.1, accounts payable. Be it resolved to approve accounts payable for September the 25th, 2025 in the amount of $80,343.22. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second.
Second, Councilor Darren Roberts, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
7.2, water and sewer. Be it resolved to approve water and sewer tax adjustments in the amount of $384. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second.
Second, Councilor Darren Roberts, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
7.3, business tax. Be it resolved to approve business tax write-offs in the amount of $256.32. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second.
Councilor Laura Aylward, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
A 7.4, sponsorship. Number 1, be it resolved to approve sponsorship to the St. Thomas Roddick
Councilor Thomas Roddick.
Oh, gotta say that right. Be resolved to approve sponsorship to Sir Thomas Roddick Hospital Foundation Radiothon in the amount of $1,000. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second.
Second, Councilor Maurice Hines, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Just to mention that the Radiothon is happening this afternoon.
Yes.
We'll be on the air starting at 2 o'clock for Stephenville. Port-aux-Basque was on this morning, and up to about 11, they had 40,000 raised in Port-aux-Basque. So ours will start at 2 o'clock, and it's going to be at the hospital for anyone that wants to drop in and make a donation or whatever.
That's good. Okay, thank you for that, Councilor Aylward.
7.5, approval to sign deed of confirmation. Be it resolved that the mayor and town clerk be authorized to sign a deed of confirmation to correct an error in the vendor's information for the property located at 3 Fallow Drive. This correction pertains to the original conveyance in 2002, ensuring the vendor is properly identified as town council of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second.
Second, Councilor Maurice Hines, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
7.6, approval to submit application for municipal capital works.
So can I
Yeah.
chime in here just to explain the reason for this and the timing? Municipal Capital Works this year, the deadline is October 6th, just 4 days after the election. And so in order to be able to submit, we need council to approve this. And then and these are the items that had been in the past applied for, but were not funded. And there are 3 other items on there. One was previously funded and 2 others are new items which or variants on two different items. So there are a list here with the amounts enclosed. What we are seeking, of course, is to have the resolutions to be able to apply. They are just for those applications. They don't commit the council to anything. We could accept or reject them in future. But at least this way we get our applications in the system as per municipal affairs requirements. So, and just on the items that are new, there are 3 new items which were in the works. One was splash pad, which had been discussed and budgeted for partially internally in last year's budget. And that one is in there for an estimated amount of $551,247.90, of which the town would then be required to and responsible for the payment of $199,956.31. That's item number 7. 2 other items before you go through these resolutions. One is the wastewater treatment plant. Last year, when we applied for an expansion of the wastewater treatment plant. Some thinking went into as to whether we should actually expand it or not. So what we did was we curtailed that and decided to seek an engineering study to determine just what the capacity is, the functioning and capability, and what the needs might be for the future. And that comes in as number 6 there, which is a $435,752.50 proposal. And the third item is the fire hall and regional emergency services hub, number 8. And that one had previously been approved for the town in the past, and it wasn't acted on. And there was some discussion as to where the fire hall was going to go. And of course, there was an offer from an entrepreneur in the community that he was going to, or his company was going to pay for a fire hall. That didn't happen. So now we are back and we have to look at it just pure and simple as to get a proper design done for a regional emergency services hub. And this is that particular application for that. So those are the 3 new items. The others are exactly as they were in previous council approvals for those resolutions. So anyway, Madam Chair, I just wanted to add those clarifications for you as to how those would work.
Thank you very much. .6 approval to submit application for municipal capital works. Item number 1, Queen Street Extension Phase 2. Be it resolved to apply for cost shared funding through the municipal capital works call for applications with the Municipal Infrastructure Division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $4,002,209.50 for the purpose of Queen Street Extension Phase 2, water and sewer upgrades. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide its share of the cost shared funding of $725,868.56 for this project to be selected for funding, and acknowledges that project costs above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second. Second, Deputy Mayor Susan Fowler, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, a quick question. I noticed that we have a couple of phase 2, some.
Sorry.
This is
Queen Street.
Hillview Avenue, Phase 2. That's the
Is Queen Street?
next phase.
No, we're still in phase 1, still in phase. Queen
Number
Street,
1,
number 1.
Queen Street Extension.
It's Queen Street Extension Phase 2. We did Phase 1, municipal capital works from the Hanson Highway up, but a second phase was required. And these are triaged and prioritized by our Director of Public Works and vetted through management. And because of the expansion of subdivisions in Queen Street Extension, that's why one of these would be as a priority. Does that answer your question, Councilor O'Brien?
Yeah. No,
I think you're getting
It just-
confused,
yeah.
Councilor O'Brien. This is Hillview Avenue in downtown Stephenville.
That was Hillview.
That's Hill-
Sorry, Queen Street Extension.
yeah, Queen
Yeah,
Street
but-
Extension first.
Yeah, we're just dealing with Queen Street Extension here. Okay.
And I just had a quick question on that about the phase two. I know lots of times when a proposal goes in for phase one, and obviously you was look at they were going to have a phase two. Is there more of a guarantee that it would get it because it is a phase two? Or doesn't make.
It's really hard to judge as to whether it does. What we were told this year, we applied for 6 items and we weren't funded for any. Some other years, we might have been funded for 1 or 2, and 4 or 5 were left unfunded or unapproved. So in this case, I can't say, at least it shows that, you know, part of it's done, the rest of it should be done. But again, the only thing that municipalities, Newfoundland and Labrador, our group, I guess, that lobbies on behalf of municipalities, says that the primary ones are, you know, life safety, and also
Okay.
number 2 would be areas where regionalization may occur. Those may move to the top of the list. But if you have, let's say, water drinking issue or water quality issues and potential impacts there, that might be one that's moved to the top of the list. And we did have an approval for our water system last year's that was finally approved and given to us,
Okay.
about a $2 million program.
Okay.
So whether the phasing actually helps or not, you know, Ira has a lot more experience in that with different ones that you've applied for over the years. And generally, you know, some communities would apply for one and then get the next phase done before they go on to another project.
Yeah, generally, like, take earlier, I guess, from the beginning, it would have been applied for all area.
He'll be meeting.
Hillview, sorry.
Yeah.
And the funding that was probably, achieved or announced would be probably not to do for it.
Yeah.
So the town will have to phase it.
And my understanding too, is sometimes there's a decision to go so far and then, look at the infrastructure down below first and then finish the phases. So I think we've done that as well. So I think there's a little bit of wiggle room sometimes, but I don't remember it ever really having an impact whether we said it was phase 1 or phase.
Just to add, when we submit, we prioritize.
Yeah.
Little bit of a challenge, and as our CAO mentioned with M&L, is sometimes we don't get a final decision. It's municipal affairs get the final decision. And sometimes we have a submission for $2 million and they only have a budget and they got 256 municipalities to carve out the funding to. If we got one there for $10 million, sometimes they might only approve the 2 million, even though it may not be a high priority for us. But I will just clearly state, we are very beneficial in this community being in good financial shape because we only pay 20% of these municipal capital work projects. Smaller communities, say like Kippens and Seymour Crossing, they only got to pay 10%. But the challenge is a lot of communities can't even apply because they can't afford the 10% or 20%. We are managed properly. We use financial instruments. We run an $11 million balanced budget, and we are in good shape to be able to submit and do the necessary capital works in the in this town, in the province too, in this country. I think on the globe. I could keep.
Okay,
Okay.
covered all the bases.
I think I covered all the bases there. Okay, Councilor White.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and say it's 7.6, number 2, Hillview Avenue, Phase 2. Be it resolved to apply for cost shared funding through the municipal capital works call for applications with the municipal infrastructure, the division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $5,525,851.20 for the purpose of Hillview Avenue Phase 2 water and sewer upgrades. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide its share of cost shared funding of $1,000,000 $2,206.81 for this project, should it be selected for funding, and acknowledges that project cost above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second
Second, Councilor Darren Roberts, all in favor?
I,
Carried.
question.
Question?
Would this complete Hillview Avenue? Right down to the end of the road?
Yeah.
It will?
Okay, item number 3.
Item number 3, St. George's Avenue. Be it resolved to apply for cost-shared funding to the municipal capital works call for applications with the Municipal Infrastructure Division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $4,972,002.00 for the purpose of St. George's Avenue water and sewer upgrades. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide its share of the cost-shared funding of $901,756.87 for this project. Shall it be selected for funding, and acknowledges that project costs above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second.
Second, Councilor Laura Aylward, all in favor?
I,
Again, similar question. St. George's Avenue, would that include the extension or just the,
That's all.
all of it?
okay.
But right across, right down the extension? Oh, excellent.
You vote against? Okay, no, that the vote was already called. We did not hear your dissenter, but I guess we can accept Councilor O'Brien as dissenting on the motion because the motion was carried 6. Because the question was called after the vote was called. Your question came after the vote.
Which one, number
Right.
3? St. George's Avenue or on
St.
Hillview Avenue?
George's. St. George's.
St. George's.
So just to clarify, Councilor O'Brien, you're against the Municipal Capital Works submission for St. George's Avenue? Okay, Councilor O'Brien, we need to be on point and on point of order. We are on the Finance Committee agenda, if you have it in front of you. Item number 3, St. George's Avenue. So we can only speak on that. Okay. Okay, Councilor White, you can continue with number 4.
Okay, I'm going to go back to 7.6. Item number 4, O'Brien's Drive. Be it resolved to apply for cost-shared funding to the municipal.
Just hang on a second now. We're just getting clarity for
Can't hear.
Councilor O'Brien.
Tom couldn't hear.
There.
Okay, Tom, I'm going to read it. Number 4, O'Brien's Drive. Be it resolved to apply for cost-shared funding through the Municipal Capital Works calls for applications with the Municipal Infrastructure Division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $3,539,789.67 for the purpose of O'Brien's Drive water and sewer upgrades. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide its share of the cost share funding of $642,000.
642? Yeah.
$642,080. For this project, should it be selected for funding, and acknowledges that project costs above the approved project total costs will be the sole responsibility of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second. Second, Councilor Maurice Hines, all in favor? Carried. Against? Okay, note that Councillor O'Brien is against, so it'll be a 6-1 motion carried.
Item number 5, it's St. Clair Avenue, Phase 3. Be it resolved to apply for cost-shared funding through the Municipal Capital Works call for applications with the Municipal Infrastructure Division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $6,608,237.10 for the purpose of St. Clair Avenue Phase 3 water and sewer upgrades. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide its share of the cost-shared funding of $1,198,515.85 for this project shall be selected for funding and acknowledges that project cost above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, second.
Second.
Second, Councillor Darren Roberts. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next.
Are you against, Councillor O'Brien? You're okay with the vote?
Yes.
Okay, carried 7. Oh, he's against?
No, he was for that one.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought he said against first.
That's our priority. We can tell pause. Better keep us safe.
That's what you can see.
7.
Okay, Councillor White.
Item number 6, wastewater treatment. Be it resolved to apply for cost-shared funding through the Municipal Capital Works call for applications with the Municipal Infrastructure Division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $435,752.50 to complete engineering study for the wastewater treatment plant. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide its share of the cost-shared funding of $87,158.50 for this project shall it be selected for funding and acknowledges that project cost above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, second, Deputy Mayor Susan Bell. I'm wondering, can I just turn the gavel over, just like to speak on this one for a sec? Susan? Okay, so this one here is, we often hear, you know, what are our core responsibilities in the town of Stephenville? Well, it's water, it's garbage collection, it's snow clearing, all the basics. Most communities have sports and recreation. We have that. We are so blessed in the town of Stephenville, I should say. But this is very important too, because if I could just bring everybody's attention to the map we have on the wall, this is our future planning map for the town's expansion. This would increase Stephenville's population by about 15,000 people. And you have to plan for the future. So having the engineering completed on our sewer treatment facility, it was only designed for 7,800 people. We're only about 6,700 people. So when you do your planning and your engineering in advance, it positions you and it gets you ready from a public works perspective that should we get an announcement on some of the big projects that are in play in Stephenville, such as World Energy, Atlas Salt, Triple Point, some of the big projects that our management team and council is prepared and ready to be able to get the town prepared for expansion. So everything that's on that map that's highlighted in different colors, it's mixed development and it's for an additional 15,000 people. So you do have to plan. It's it's your asset management in a sense. So I just wanted to say that. Okay. Thank you. I should be back. I should be. Anyway, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Carry.
Item,
Counselor O'Brien.
Just check with council.
Counselor O'Brien?
All in favor? Are you good with the motion? Okay, noted. 7 in favor of the motion. Carry.
item number 7, the splash pad. Be it resolved to apply for cost shared funding to the municipal capital works call for applications with the Municipal Infrastructure Division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $551,247.90 to construct splash pad and skate rink at Blanchbrook Park. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide its share of the cost shared funding of $199,956.31 for this project should it be selected for funding, and acknowledges that project cost above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, second Deputy Mayor Susan Ballo. Question?
Just something, I guess, obviously some study went into this, instead of just having a splash pad that we would use for 3 months during the summer. We got an additional skating rink that can be used in the winter. So we found similar ones in other municipalities or somewhere.
Apparently there's some hybrids out there.
Okay.
One of the things that through our economic office, they research too, is that, you know, when you think about a splash pad, you gotta think about where's the water gonna come from? Where's the water gonna go? So you always gotta take that in consideration. But when it comes to a closed loop sort of ice rink, you need a plant to handle it, to keep the ice on. Because remember, we're only 0 degrees centigrade in the wintertime. It's sometimes challenging to keep ice on a natural rink. So a site may be considered, even though it'd be nice to see it in Blanchbrook Park, you might want to consider it up by the dome, because the ice plant in the dome could actually service the outdoor skating rink, the loop. It's a little distance away from your general public, but it's a big cost saving factor, because if you have a hybrid, like you said, that it's winter use and summer use, that makes it more efficient, and a $500,000 expenditure makes it more palatable. Question,
Oh, just a comment. Our, yes, Recreation and Wellness Department too, as part of, I guess their longer term planning, and over the last little while have, quite a while now, have been looking into and researching the best value for rinks and so on. And I think they're also looking at skating rinks and those that freeze and those that are artificial ice and all those things. So what they're trying to look at, I believe, in terms of some of the discussions that we had too, was again, how do we look at something that's not just a 2 months a year thing as a really big expense? How do we make this bigger and also more inclusive for older people too, older young people, teenagers, et cetera. So, you know, I think they've looked and are continuing to look at a balance for that reason.
one thing I just want to add too, across Canada, it's known, you know, statistics in emergency departments, that there's a couple of activities for young children that create a lot of trauma, a lot of leg breaks, concussions, trampolines and splash pads.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping by the time the engineering and the planning goes into some hybrid 12-month year facility, that there's new safety and new modernization for risk mitigation. But it is known across this country in emergency departments that trampolines and splash pads, a lot of injuries, just to say that. So good discussion. It takes good planning, and we got a very competent management team to give great advice to our town council. So all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 8, Fire Hall and Regional Emergency Services Hub. Be it resolved to apply for cost-shared funding through the Municipal Capital Works call for applications with the Municipal Infrastructure Division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $672,000. Complete for the engineering and design for the new Fire Hall and Regional Emergency Services Hub. The town of Stephenville agrees to provide its share of cost-shared funding of $243,757.19 for this project, should it be selected for funding, and acknowledges that project cost above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Stephenville. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second?
Second, Councilor Maurice Hines. I'd just like to speak just one thing before we call for the vote. Our facility is from US Air Force Base. We're in this building. It's pretty dated. It's time for a new hub to be considered. But what's great is when you have future planning from a fire response perspective and equal time points and stuff like that, there is great discussion with our fire department, and there will be a lot of discussion on where the site would be as it benefits the airport, as it benefits the town. As any town grows, sometimes you end up with a satellite in some places, like a big city, but we're not there yet. But I just wanted to pick that up. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay. Okay, so that's it for finance, nothing late.
No more
No,
documents came in.
no extra money for jams for the new council coming in or anything like that?
I'll pay.
Bill Council on that.
Let them handle that. Yeah. Okay, so item number 9, we got a couple of bylaws, regulation and policies we need to adopt. Some great work done by our town staff,
I
or
think it's a late item that.
you guys see that first?
It's a late item there, yeah.
Okay,
Hold on.
so,
Oh, okay, yeah, there's a late item under, planning, which is, approval for comprehensive development plan for Hillier Avenue.
yeah, I'll step away from it.
Oh, yes, so, yes.
Okay.
Okay, be it resolved to approve a comprehensive development plan for Hillier Avenue. This would include development plan for 15 unserviced residential dwellings. No more dwellings will be permitted until further water studies are completed. I so move.
Second.
And comment, okay,
Okay, to the question, and then we all just give me.
yes.
So at the last regular general meeting of council, we were asked to get a legal opinion related to this matter. And the primary question that was asked was about fire and liability related to said area. So I'll read out part of the legal aspect of this. So this approval, if it goes forward, if council does approve it, does not create a potential liability in that regard for anything to do with fire safety. I'll read the town inquired about possible municipal liabilities regarding fire protection services within the property in the event the rezoning occurs further to the CDAR process. He says, I see no potential liabilities in that regard. As noted above, any rezoning, whether further to the CDAR process or otherwise, does not actually authorize any development whatsoever. If the rezoning occurs, then it is still for prospective developers to submit a development application, which would then be considered in reference to the new zone and the new zone use table. And there's emphasis here. It says, it is only when council is faced with a specific development application that council can consider potential issues regarding fire safety. There are obviously a host of factors that council will consider, as it seems likely that the property in said area is intended to be developed in a fairly piecemeal fashion. There's a lot of property owners up there versus a comprehensive single development by a developer. Anyway, at that time, when those development applications come forward to council, it's likely going to have to consider what constraints or requirements will be imposed as conditions to any possible development permits. Okay. So that was the information we've received and advised council of, and just wanted you to have that understanding.
And really, not unlike any area that we want to open up, right? That there's, we look to open up an area and for development, that doesn't mean that developers come in and start to develop with any of the other constraints. So I think that's important to recognize that we're at a phase in a plan or where we're looking at potential development. We're not saying we're voting on development up there because this is just the next stage.
I think that's so important. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, that I think that's probably the misunderstanding, that any development has to come here. I think it's so important.
Any other comments before we call for a vote?
Councillor O'Brien, I'm not sure if you heard all of that yet, but do you have any comments?
Okay, for those people listening who may not have heard that, would you like to repeat that, or Councillor O'Brien has?
Yeah, okay, Tom, then just to restate for the benefit of the record that you feel that there have been enough questions raised that they're not answered to your satisfaction and that we should not submit this to municipal affairs. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we will bring it to a vote then. And did we have a mover and a seconder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So all in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Contraminded?
Councillor O'Brien, you're contraminded? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so one, Councillor O'Brien,
Darren.
and
Yes, he did. Yeah.
and so carried.
Okay.
So we can ask the mayor to come back to the table.
And mayor's going to rejoin now.
Okay, thank you very much for chairing that meeting, Deputy Mayor Susan Powell. We'll move on to item number 9, which are the bylaws, regulations, and policies. Under the new Municipalities Act that came in on January 1, a certain set of directives come from municipal affairs about standard policy adoption of councils that must be in place. From that, you have, every council has the ability to bring policies into their own municipality by their choice, but there are standards. So item number 1, I would ask for a couple of these here that we have to look at that are critically important. Be it resolved that the town of Stephenville council adopt fire department operating bylaw as per towns and local service district, Article 7.1 F.
Right.
Move by
Moved.
Councillor Maurice Hines, second.
Second.
Second, Councillor Myra White, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Policy number 2, be it resolved that the town of Stephenville adopt use of source by water bylaw as per towns and local service district, Article 7.1 B as in Bravo. Moved.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Maurice Hines, second. Second, Deputy Mayor Susan Fallow. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Councillor O'Brien, all in favor? Aye, carried. Motion carried. So there's nothing late, So we'll go right into item number 10. Is there any unfinished business? It is, hey, it's our last council meeting. Like, I'm just opening up the table.
It just means everything's finished.
Finish.
It's us.
Councilor Ryan, you want to speak on some unfinished business?
Take them all. Certainly, you think the same way, council colleagues, for the time and effort and determination that they put into the role as well.
Okay, thank you very much for those kind words, Councilor O'Brien.
Here, here.
Any other comments? I guess as still going mayor, we got 4 councilors putting themselves up for office again, and I have to commend and congratulate each and every one of you because it is a tough job. You know, we deal with everything from a bump in the road or a pothole to $1 billion world energy project. And there are a lot of files and there's a lot of work. But I got to commend the councilors that are stepping forward. Deputy Mayor Susan Fallow, you're stepping forward in the mayor's role, a big position also. And if successful, you kind of get to repeat a little bit of history like I did. So I became the second Mayor Rose in the town, great town, Stephenville. And we did have a great Mayor Fallow before, and Mayor Jean Fallow. She was very, you know, was a little before my time. I was just a teenager playing soccer and baseball, whatever, marbles. We played marbles back then when I was young, that way. But she was instrumental in putting the first trees in Stephenville on Main Street. So she had a green component to her, and she's a former veteran, Canadian Air Force
That's
veteran.
right, yeah.
So, you know, she gave a lot. She stood up, put on a uniform for her country, and stood up as the mayor of Stephenville. I'd also like to say that our town staff, we have done a lot of great work with HR consultants, realizing that a town of Stephenville is very broad. Like we're hearing some stuff, you know, get back to the basics. Well, the basics are covered. We have never been without water, except if we have a break or we got to shut off for maintenance. Our system is never totally shut down. Our garbage collection now is, I believe, better because we're not impacted by a lot of holidays. So the way we contract our garbage collection are benefits there. Snow clearing is great. A lot of extra work in our public works department now because we're building more sidewalks. As you build more sidewalks, it takes more equipment, more resources. But, you know, we got a management team here, like, for example, Mike Ratter came on and Matt. And they found out about this technology from 300 miles above the planet that you can scan Stephenville, Newfoundland and determine where every single leak is in our system. It's so accurate. It would tell us if it's sewer, is it storm drainage, or is it potable water, drinking water, from 300 miles up. Because we have young guns, very competent staff, we are now pushing approximately one third less water than we had to, because we have been able to triage. And when Mr. Barter from our Director of Public Works got to send his team out to find a water leak, now we have precision. This software that was developed in Italy by a company called Astera, it's so accurate. It's on the Japanese space station that they detected water on Mars. And we were the first town in this country to do this. Since we've done it, I believe Calgary and Toronto have followed our lead. And I remember when our deputy CAO and Mike were up at the FCM conference in Calgary, I don't know if anybody remember, Cal, we had that big water break. It was very, very challenging for the city. I think they were trying to take over our staff, keep them there. But Calgary followed Stephenville. I would stack our management team with anybody in this province. They got the competencies. They're able to find programs, green sustainability funds, to do the necessary work to ensure that we get Stephenville to a place that benefits all residents, from the toddlers to the grandparents. By the way, too, I'm just saying, I may become a poppy again today. My daughter and my son are in the delivery, maybe not delivery room, but they're in the hospital and things are starting to happen. So I'll never forget my last day on chairing my public meeting,
No,
because it'll be the day my grandson was born, maybe, unless he goes past 12 o'clock tonight. So we'll see what happens there. But I gotta say, it's been a pleasure serving. My grandfather was the first mayor of Stephenville. He served. I got to play a part, but there's a time to step away. And I totally believe that, not so much for councilors, but, and to Councilor Laura, over 30-something years, you're the toughest lady I know.
Yes.
And you're really proud of you. But 2 terms as mayor, I think that's enough. And it's not in the regulations. You can be a mayor for life. Now, my mom's going to be 100 years old October 2nd. Not saying I want to come back in my 90s and become the mayor again, but I don't think so. I'm just saying. Yeah. So I got some good longevity in my gene pool, eh? So let's see what happens. So I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank our guests that came and got to see our last public meeting. Thanks for your support, to our management team. And once again, I got to say to everybody that's running, I wish you the very best. You know, it's not an easy road. It's a lot of work. And we take a bit of flack, probably mostly. But when we get in trouble, it takes a toll on our management staff. Our management staff gets in trouble, take a little bit of the toll too, So it's back and forth, right? So any other comments from anybody?
I'd like to say something. I'd like to say thank you to the taxpayers that allowed me to come here for 4 years. I learned a lot of stuff. I also learned that patience is a very good thing. And you've had a lot of patience with me till I got back to respond to you. And the staff here is phenomenal. I can't say anything bad about them, because everyone here is, I'm going to call them all smarties, because they're good. And I just wanted to say, for anybody that's coming in, it's not an easy pull the first 4 years. Now, somebody likes to do 8, that's good. But there's other things pop up, and then you're not going to continue around this table, and I'm one of those. But I'd like to thank everybody, because I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that we sat around the table and we just never gave up on things that had to be fixed and done. And, there wasn't a lot of voices high or low, but, everybody had a say, and we all took it into account and make a good decision for our town. So thank you, and thank you for everybody that comes in. I'm hoping that I'll be out there in the audience too, watching all. Thank you.
I gotta say, being the chairperson of this great council and the council before, and Councilor Aylward and Councilor Hines and Councilor Fowler were with me in my first 4 years, but we had a very respectful council. We were always very respectful to each other. And I have to say that that shows that there was great leadership of people that got elected, sat at this table. Because diplomacy is very, very important. And sometimes we all can, get a little agitated over this and that, but, at the end of the day, this is a democratic process. And the vote will either get carried or get defeated. And with good advice from our great management team, we hope, and we'll never get it 100% right, and the next council won't either. But you strive for that 90 percentile.
You do.
Yeah.
And, how long have I got?
October. Shall I drop the gavel?
No, get hungry, I'm getting hungry.
I can start now.
I'm not like, gonna be like the people on, the awards when they're playing the music and I gotta stop. 32 years is a long time to, go back and, memorize and look at the memories and look at the good things and the bad things that happened since 1993. At the time, I was working full time at Sir Thomas Braddock Hospital as a buyer in the purchasing department, and my children were all grown, had good jobs, had good careers, so I had no worries about that. My husband, well, he never did tell me what to do, so I said, well, I said, there's some people around town wanting me to run for council, and he said, oh yeah, you know, whatever you want to do, whatever. Well, anyway, for the first time in his life, he even ordered something of the Sears catalog for me, and it was, I don't have it with me, but it was a pure leather briefcase, and it wasn't those heavy ones, it was the nice soft ones, right? I still have it actually. So I thought to myself, well, he must want me to go. So anyway, I decided that I would, and as a matter of fact, C. Stein, one of our mayors, former mayors, paid my nomination fee. Now, it was only $10, so he'd get it back if I won, so I guess he got his money back. I never did check. And over those years, I've worked now with 3 mayors. 19 people ran when I ran, and there was 3 other women. I was the only woman elected at that particular time, and then 18 years went by, and I'm still the only woman until we got one other woman, which was good, but I didn't mind that because the men didn't get over my time anyway. I didn't mind speaking up to any of the council if I felt, you know, that there was a reason to do it. Anybody running, and to members that are new and are looking at running, they have to understand that we have to go by the municipal rules. We just can't turn around and do what we want to do. There's a lot of things that we're not allowed to do. And if you're in conflict on any issue at all, you have to, well, one time you had to leave the room, but now you can sit back. And so a lot of things have happened over the years. I've seen a lot of things come to this community over the years, not only because we had good mayors and management, but also we had good MHAs on the Liberal side. And that was one of them was my son, Kevin Elward. Now, I don't mind saying it, that everything that you see in this town, except for the big CNA building, you got the headquarters, you got the dome, the headquarters of the college, you've got the new hospital, and I'll go on and on and on, the stuff that came to this town. Because you had a good, when he was MHA, he had a good rapport with the mayor and the management and the people involved, and worked well. They all worked together, so that worked out really well. We did see the flood, and we did see the Abitibi mill close, and I sat around this table with big guns out of Montreal trying to talk them into you know, at least given going to the government and looking for a better price on their light bill, because the big reason for the mill closing was because their light bill was way out of whack, and you know, so we did a lot of that. I sat here with Danny Williams and to ask him point blank, you know, you're gonna let this mill close, you know. So anyway, lots of things happened during those years. But the thing is, you can have an argument as per an argument, and you can disagree with your councillors and your mayor even, but there's times when you disagree and you will not agree with things. There's times most times you will agree, but it doesn't mean that you're going to hold a grudge. Like I never did hold grudges any time that I had a disagreement with any of the councillors. And as Myra, Councillor Waite said, I want to thank all of the staff, management staff, union staff, everybody included, for all the work that they did and do. And Ira Barter, I've gone back with Ira for a long time, because Ira used to work with our engineers. And so it was nice to see Ira back with us again. So the main thing with a council, we do policies and this kind of stuff. We're not here to go in and disrupt the staff and tell them what to do and, well, what's this all about? Stuff like that. We're not there to do that. We're here to pat the policy stuff and all that kind of stuff. The workers are the important part of this town. The workers in this community, they give a lot to the town. When you got to go on a snowy night and look at a water break and try to fix it, I commend these people and the firefighters. I mean, they're a big asset to our town. And I don't want to leave anybody out, but I can tell you, we, in this community, we are very lucky to have the people that we do and the people that volunteer. And I'll talk about the hospital issues for a minute. I'm glad to report that as our West Coast Healthcare Action Committee were advocating for a 5th obstetrician gynecologist for our area. And even though she's based in Corner Brook, there's 4 women based in Corner Brook for delivering babies. So we got the 5th one now, and she's from Corner Brook. And the reason for that is because women, even though I'm way older than a lot of you around my table, I'm the oldest one here, I'm sure. Even though women in their 30s and 40s sometimes will need to see a gynecologist, not because she's having a baby, and should not have to wait for 2 years. So we advocated for that back a couple of meetings ago, and lo and behold, they listened to us, powers that be at Western Health, and they hired a full-time gynecologist, obstetrician, young woman, a couple of years out of her starting her career. And she's, her parents are in Corner Brook, so, and she will be doing visits to Stephenville. So that's a really good news for us. And there's good news in the fact that the surgeons come out, they do come out and do endoscopes and colonoscopies and minor surgeries and things like that. And we do have a good emergency department. And I know there's long waits sometimes, but there's always good reasons for it. But if a patient is waiting and it's going on and on and on, and they're not being looked at, and they're in, you know, and they're in a lot of pain and everything else, I would suggest if they feel they can't wait, to go on to the next hospital and get seen there. And anyway, I hope I don't leave anybody out when I'm thanking people, but I gotta say it's been an honor to be at the table for all these years. And I thank the citizens too. And I thank them for their trust in me. And my 8 elections, I never did door to door. I tried it once, and I was invited to go into every door for a cup of tea. So I said, no, I can't do that. So for the people that are running for council, I never did go door to door. Once, like I said, I tried it and I couldn't do it. And I did 8 elections and I was never asked. I was first, second, third, fourth. Anyway, but I did work with wonderful people. All the mayors were great. But I have to say this, but this last term has been the most disappointing one of all because of the harassment by a few individuals that I can't get out of my mind. And Mr. Mayor, you've taken more than enough. And someone even stole your iron gate that was in the family for 100 years. Do you ever get that back?
Never.
Well, now, you know, here you are. Deputy Mayor Fowler, you took a lot of harassment from people. And a lot of it, and most of it, was not true. You are not to blame for the airport closure, and no more is the mayor. Imagine someone even said that Deputy Mayor Fowler and the mayor had sold the airport. That is not true. We had nothing to do with the sale of the airport. It was the board and at that time. And believe me, when I talk about something on council and about the town of Stephenville and about healthcare, I know what I'm talking about. And that is, to me, I would hope the new council will be very respectful to their co-councilors and their staff. And the morale here for a while wasn't that great, but I can tell you, the manager, Bill Ramsey, when he took over, total change. We have one of the best managers that I've seen in my time here, second to none to Barry Coates. And Jennifer Brake as well. She's there. The town clerk's very important. She's the most important person. You don't have a town clerk, you got no council. And she came here right from, had to learn everything. She had to learn that municipal act. And I'm going to tell you now, there's nobody around this table can tell me that they know that municipal act inside out, because they don't. And they're going to have all changes coming up. And the problem, and then they came out with this code of conduct. That was the worst thing they ever did, municipal affairs, because now the least little thing you do, they put in a code of conduct about you, and it's after costing us thousands of dollars because some person out there put in a complaint that wasn't even valid. It would have been, it's not even worth talking about. So there's so many things there. I could be here all day, and I don't want to do that. Because I think there's a little reception after this. But I think all in all, over my years here, I've enjoyed it. I'm going to miss it, and I wouldn't be bored, no doubt about that. I got great grandchildren on the go now, and I just had my 86th birthday, and I'm not slowing down by any means. I'll be in here to some meetings, and when I'm not in here, I'll be listening. And if I hear something that I don't like, I'll be calling whatever counselor is there. And the beautification, which I'm chair of, is I'm hoping that the new council will keep doing the same thing that I've done for all these years. We don't meet very often, but we meet when we need to, and we know that we have the dome staff that are going to be there as soon as the ice is off. They take over the grass cutting and all the beautification you see around town. I want to give them a big shout out too, because they did a great job and for all these years. And I would hope that the new council will still consider having them just move into the beautification side of it and still get the $65,000 grant that the town gives them every year, and that you will cooperate and have them there so they don't get laid off and they just go on and do the job as then they go back to the ice time when the stadium goes on. If I forgot anything, you can remind me, but thanks for listening, everybody. And Mr. Mayor, it's been a pleasure serving under your leadership, I got to say.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. So any other comments before I close our final public meeting?
Well, I got one thing.
Okay.
Okay. So before we close, as Laura mentioned, there is little reception after, sort of little recognition to the council, and that our staff will attend as well. But before we close, something I guess particularly, can't even get the word out, special is Laura and her 32 years of service.
Yeah.
So we wanted to just acknowledge that while we're still online. When we go offline, we'll have a little bit more, but as we're here and have the opportunity to do, Laura, we want to present you with this little special gift. And Laura, in recognition of 32 years of dedicated year of service to the town of Stephenville, your leadership and commitment leaves a lasting legacy.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Reminder that all the insiders that need something tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You just want to
Reminder, but now you're here.
One thing I'm not about.
Before I call for adjournment, we just want to say too that tonight.
Go ahead.
Oh, I got you on standby for adjournment, Councilor O'Brien. Stand pat here. Anyways, I just want to say tonight, the Steamboat Theater Festival, one of our arts, signature arts organizations, arranged a night. I think it just selected standard questions for each mayoral candidate and each councillor candidate. It'll be at the Royal Canadian Legion. From 6 to 7 is sort of the social part that you can go say hello, ask a question to any of the candidates. And then I think from 7 to 8, there's a formal
7 to 9.
7 to 9, where there's a formal part. I think each participant that's running for a elected seat on council gets 2 to 3 minutes to overview who they are, what their platform is, and what their plans are for the future. So if anybody that's listening or want to attend, we'd highly recommend it.
6 o'clock is it?
6 o'clock, social part, off T sounds.
Oh, yeah.
So, first of all, once again, I want to thank our 2 top managers, Deputy Chief Administration Officer Candace Simon, and our CAO, Mr. Bill Ramsey. They have carried us, they have carried staff, they have carried our town. So we want to commend them for their stellar performance. So on that note, I'm going to call from a respectful member of council to adjourn my final meeting as the mayor of the town of Steamboat. Got it? Okay, I have a motion from Councillor Tom O'Brien. Can we get a seconder?
Second it.
Second, Councillor Maurice Hines. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Oh.
Okay, meeting, it is 12:25 PM.
Thanks, Don. This is, I think it's always.